Hey guys, I wanted to do another one of these tourney tactics videos. This is from my match that I had last night with Sharky, Esper, and Chiffin. Uh, I wanted to show you two of the games from it, with both of them from when I was on Sharky's team, because I think both of these there's like a slight common thread between how the games went that I thought related to each other and was a useful lesson to go over and evaluate. And I'll also probably be like critiquing my own gameplay a little bit here as well, uh, pointing out the reasoning behind some of my decisions and in retrospect if I think those are the right decisions or not and what I could have potentially done differently. So the first match is here on Highway. I'm running a pretty basic and safe Nature Faith arsenal, and Sharky is, I believe, running Key Optical Vibe. I can't quite remember if those are the exact school combos, but I'm fairly sure. But he's running a laser deck. So let's get into the video. Here, Sharky calls out a boost mine to me, but he also points out that Esper looks like he might be going for a Vicious. And I wasn't sure about it because Chiffin had already gone up to 3, and normally the other person who doesn't have Vibe stays at 0 to hit everyone harder. And so I make the call to have Sharky go ahead and put the boost mine here so Chiffin doesn't get it. And then it does turn out that Esper has the Vicious, and Sharky was right. Upon thinking about it, I'm trying to think if placing the boost mine was a misplay. Because if Sharky hadn't placed the boost mine there, he wouldn't have been able to use it until he got another aura particle, because he would have been taken down to 2. And so I don't really know. I think he possibly needed that aura in order to reach Vibe, which is why it was a problem. Here, I don't really think it's a huge misplay to play the boost mine. I think you can justify it either way. And I definitely think one major thing here was that with the boost mine or without, taking the Vicious this early, really, even for a full proper Vibe deck, you can recover from that pretty easily. That's only 3 aura lost. But it does slow Sharky down and probably makes it have to overwrite stuff here. So I could definitely see it argued that we should have been more patient and waited for the boost mine. Waited until after he did the Vicious. Let me know what you guys think, actually. I'd be really interested to see other people's opinions on if you think that was a misplay or not, and if it was a significant one, how much of an impact it had. And then he lays out the second Vicious here, which I still think, even if we had played the boost mine earlier, it would have had the same result, and we would have been taken to this level anyways. So again, it's hard to say what the right play was with the boost mine. So here Sharky is very stressed out and was letting me know about it quite a bit, that he feels his arsenal has been just destroyed by this Vicious. And, you know, it's a fair point. When you're playing a Vibe deck that doesn't have... I think... Oh, no, I remember now. He was doing a Faith Opti one because he was talking about how he didn't draw his amulet. So, very unfortunate that he actually brought countermeasures to the Vicious, but just didn't get the amulet in time. When I play arsenals that are Faith Opti Vibe, I run either 2 amulets or an amulet plus a Mephisto's Pact, because I think it's just too rare to get your amulet when you really need it if it's 1 out of 30 capsules. So here I'm trying to pressure Esper. My aura count is basically fine. I accidentally throw my Rian into his flash hull, but I have another one on bench, and I broke the flash hull, so it worked out fine. And I was feeling very comfortable with this situation. Like, I'm at 6 aura, and the thing about Nature Faith is that you really don't need that much aura, especially if you have, like, a Flame Sword. You can make do with probably just 4 aura. Rian is the one that you need 6, ideally, but if you can manage their shields and make sure they don't have erase shields, or you take them with a Lightning Sword, you can really pressure people just fine with very little aura. And Sharky has a slide laser. And that's the kind of common thread that I saw between these matches, is even though Sharky's vibe deck has been basically destroyed with these Viciouses, um, I just noticed, hey, Esper doesn't have any erase shields, and Sharky has 4 aura and a slide laser, or maybe twist laser. I'm not sure which one. But when you have twist laser and they can't erase it, it is almost just as good as a vibe laser. Like, obviously the damage to aura ratio is a lot off, but you can see it puts down so much pressure even with no damage buffs. Like, and that's one thing that I think people maybe underestimate, is with a lot of these cheap spammable attacks, the main reason you need those higher damage profiles with Vibe and with damage buffs like Tiger Strength is for erase shields. But if they can't erase it, and you can just sit here and spam it all day long, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have damage buffs or not. And so here, I'm kind of getting fucked up. I take a huge laser sword hit. I get hit with a lack. But I'm just like, they still don't have any shields. Sharky has a great laser angle. Like, this is just fine. I was very comfortable with this situation, even though it is arguably pretty bad. Like, if you look at how our Arsenal plans have progressed, their Arsenals have progressed and really hurt ours and set us back quite a lot. But they traded their life totals. Here's a very iconic moment from this series. I go to break the wall and end up manualing Sharky, and then he takes us out of debris damage. It's a great little moment here. And then I fail to do the cartwheel tech there. But I figure it's fine, I'll just go over it this way anyways. Chiffin has a fortress now, which is still... That's absolutely not what you want in this situation. It's really going to do very little against our offense here. So Sharky moves in close here to pressure with Rian because he lost the laser angle. Probably the right play, I think. And then he immediately goes back up to his base to resume the laser angles. So we've basically just reset the situation, but they have a whole lot less health. And here I go over to pick up stuff on my bench. I'm holding it just in case he does a Vicious or Quantum Decay or something, and just because I don't really need it. And now I have a Glacial Wall, and they have no damage buffs. So this is another pretty bad situation for them. They have no pressure, and we have a very good setup here. That makes it really difficult for them to get any headway. Like, yeah. So that was the first game, and I think it was a very nice example of how a game plan can go right for your opponents, and it can really shut you down, but you really should never give up in those matches because they're paying a lot of resources to do that. Like, using Vicious lowers your health, and it also makes your arsenal weaker because you don't have as much room for regular offensive stuff. And this is also why I think a lot of vibe decks should really consider running non-vibe skills like Twist and Slide Laser, so that even when this does happen, you still have that pressure. And even if they did have erase shields like Flash Holes and Dark Holes that would have taken that Twist and Slide Laser, I had Lightning Sword, and I probably could have made something happen there to open up Sharky's offense. So, really interesting game there. A lot of funny moments. A lot of salt from Sharky, even though he was winning, which is a classic Sharky moment. For the next one, we move on to Palace, and we discuss our plans a little bit, and we decide that Sharky's going to do a Faith Psycho Burst Arsenal, and I'll bring the Vibe one. So right here, not the start that you want to see with a Vibe deck, obviously. I have a Vibe Blaster on bench, Vibe Laser in hand, 2 Aura, and no Boost Mine in sight. And as soon as I see that, and knowing who I'm playing against, Esper and Chiffin are both very aggressive players who will generally, like, they only need 4 aura before they're ready to start attacking you. And one trend that I have noticed for like throughout this tournament is that I think people are holding on to their vibe skills a little bit longer than they should be. Uh, when you have to know when is the right time to hold on to them and just be greedy and dig slower to get to vibe with as many of your vibe attacks online as possible without overriding them, and when you need to go, okay, I'm gonna have to give up some of my vibe attacks here in order to just actually get enough aura to be in this fight. And again, I know that this deck has a lot of non-vibe attacks. I have Twist Laser, I have regular blasters, I have Rian. And so I am comfortable saying I am at 2 aura, this vibe laser is not going to do anything anytime soon, and I'm going to get rid of it. And that is what I do. I immediately pick up 2 capsules. If you ever get kind of aura screwed like this and you're playing a deck like this, you need to have 2 capsules spawning at once. You can't afford to just wait for 1 capsule at a time. Um, and because I make that quick decision, I actually have pressure here, even at 2 aura. I immediately overwrite the Vibe Laser. You can argue in this situation that I should have overridden the Vibe Blaster instead, and I could have done that. The problem there is that I would have had to overwrite my Rion Photon Barrier or Twist Laser, um, or possibly I could have picked up the Vibe Laser right away and overwritten it with the Twist Laser. But either way, the reason I felt it was correct to get rid of the Vibe Laser was because it was in my hand, and I needed that slot to keep digging. It's much easier for me to keep this Vibe Blaster sitting on bench because leaving 1 capsule sitting there not doing anything is a lot easier than leaving one skill in your hand doing nothing. Because this way I can keep digging and getting more resources. So I'm kind of doing a compromise between being and being digging aggressively here by overriding the Vibe Blazer in hand, but keeping the Vibe Blaster on bench. And I'm able to fight. I'm at 4 aura, but Esper has no shields, and he's a cartwheeler, and I'm thinking that this Twist Laser is going to give him a really hard time, so I can mess with him as much as I need to. And I can support Sharky, who, if I'd been digging very slowly, it would be a lot harder for me to help him out in this situation. So I'm able to just kind of pepper Esper up there with these Twist Lasers. Twist Lasers so good on Palace, especially if they have these high spawns like that, and especially if they don't run shields. So I'm actually able to take Esper off of Blazing here, which is really huge, just with an unbuffed Twist Laser. And this is why I love this skill so much. Here, I still have yet to get a Boost Mine. This is a really unfortunate draw for this Arsenal. And here, I decide to overwrite the Trance. This is probably the decision I made that you can argue the most was incorrect, because I could have done a lot of work with the Trance Twist Laser Rian, and I don't really remember what my reasoning was for overriding it. I just kind of decided to. Like, I went with my gut and just immediately got rid of it. And I think, ultimately, I have to keep the Rian. I should probably keep the Photon Barrier, and I think I want the Twist Laser as well. So maybe I just thought, any skill in this left slot, I'm going to have to overwrite. That's my digging slot, and I'm going to wipe out everything else. So I'm not sure about that one. That's another one I'd appreciate if people would let me know what they think, if that was a misplay or not. Because that's a really interesting decision that I made, that even I don't really know why I made it, which is funny. So yeah, I'm just hard digging. I'm still trying to get up to vibe, but I'm also able to put down a pretty good amount of pressure while doing so, because Twist Laser is a beautiful skill, and they don't have shields, which helps a lot. Still no boost mines here. Really unfortunate that both of my Flash and Dark Holes came up, because this is a situation where you really want to keep those for the spam attacks that they have, because both these players, Chiffin and Esper, play a lot of those. I should have taken that blaster right there, but I think I'm just kind of in defense mode. I'm just trying to mitigate damage as much as possible. Um, but honestly, it worked out that I was able to take an attack with that Dark Hole instead of overriding it. Uh, Here, okay, insane tracking on Crawling Bullet. I've tried to cartwheel it twice in this match, and I got hit both times. And I don't even think those were. I tried to delay my cartwheel to do it later, which is usually what you do for those high tracking attacks. Uh, and it did not matter. Maybe I just fucked up the cartwheel, but it has brutal tracking. And when they have damage buffs like this, like the Stimulate plus Tiger Strength, that is just, it is a really scary attack for a cartwheeler. So I finally was able to get up to Vibe here, and I'm just kind of playing the angle game right here. This one I do think I can say was definitively a misplay. Normally, I'm used to playing against players who are more conservative, people like Ebony, Guinan, a lot of people who are very heavy on the erase shields, and so you need to get as much value out of your attacks as possible. And so that's why I have a habit of using my weaker attacks first to try and break their erase shields, which is why I'm not overriding my blaster for the Vibe Blaster on my bench. But obviously, neither of them have shields here. Esper is doing key nature, so he doesn't really have erase shields unless he has a vacuum wall in there. And Chiffin also doesn't seem like he has many erase shields. So this is a situation where I should have been like, I just need to pick up the Vibe Blaster right away here and shoot them with that instead. But I was not focused too much on digging at this point. I was still kind of focused on just landing hits because we were in the middle of a firefight here. But I do think I could have gone to my bench, picked up that Vibe Blaster, and had a much bigger boost in firepower. Not the biggest misplay, but definitely something notable that I should have done. Um, Here, I'm still messing with those twist laser angles. Like, it's so good. Anything that has a really wide arc is great for Palace because so many of the fights involve circling around this tree. And if you can hit someone without having a direct line of sight on them, like Arc of Fire, Twist Laser, you have a really big advantage. And it's funny that with my Gust putting in absolute work there, Esper would have taken a lot of damage there if he didn't have that. Really funny to see. Um, See, I've done most of my damage this match with just an unbuffed Twist Laser. Because if they can't erase it, sometimes that's all you need. Okay, this one I remember is an insane hit. So Esper shoots the Crawling Bullet at me, and it goes through both of the fake sections of the tree. And even watching this in the replay, I can't see the Crawling Bullet coming at all. I should have just instinctively blocked when I heard the noise, but that's one of the craziest shots I've ever seen. Like, I did not see that coming in a million years, and it actually results in a lot of damage from the Crawling Bullet backdraft combo. So here, Sharky gets a good Psycho Burst on Esper, and I'm able to get a huge Vibe Blaster hit on Chiffin. We're all pretty low here, but I'm feeling fairly comfortable with the situation. I feel like my hand is pretty good now, and I can handle their offense fairly well. I was thinking the blaster was going to get caught on the wall there, so I didn't block, but it actually worked out because it let Sharky get a really easy reset on me. It's one of those situations where, even though that wasn't intentional, I maybe should have intentionally let myself be hit by that. So here, I try to wheel that again, and I think I might have been dead there if Esper had either a little bit more aura. Maybe he could have done the backdraft bullet even that late. I'm not sure. But that is a, like, I got out of that by the slimmest of margin. And because the Crawling Bullet is so scary, I think, hey, I don't want to be down there right now. I'm going to go up here where I'm not going to get fucked up by that as much. And I think Vibe Blaster is also very good on this upper area. Because you can land hits like that. And now Chiffin has a really hard pickup to make. Like, this is just... I think there's very few players who would be able to make a pickup like this, even when they do have, like very good skills and defensive abilities. It's just you should just try to always avoid dying in a spot like that because it's so brutal for your partner to make it. Though Esper obviously didn't expect, it was a very sneaky Vibe Blaster hit, so it's understandable that he got hit there. So here we're trying to get this final hit on Chiffin. He's doing a really good job playing defensively and making this pickup a lot harder for us to pick him off on. And if Esper had been on the lower floor, he definitely would have gotten this pickup easily. But because even though he's playing very well right now, he really can't go up that escalator or he's going to die for sure. So he takes a couple risks here going for the photon burst, and it opens him up for kind of a combo. The idea was that I was going to throw a Rian to let Sharky hit the Psycho Burst, and what ended up happening was I hit the Rian and he dodged the Psycho Burst, but then that let me get a second Rian to catch Chiffin at the end of his roll. So that was the few games that I wanted to go over, which I think really just maybe the most obvious takeaway is Twist and Slide Laser are really, really good attacks. And even if your Vibe deck gets fucked up, if they can't erase those attacks, or if you can deal with the erase shield somehow, they can often be all you need to close out a game. So really consider adding those into your Vibe deck. And if your Vibe deck does get fucked up, don't give up, because even with those basic attacks, you can still pull out a win. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your thoughts on these matches were. I'd really appreciate getting some feedback on these. They were very fun games to play. And also let me know if there's any particular topics you would like for me to cover for one of my next videos, because I'd be happy to listen to people's thoughts and cover anything that people want help on or want my input on. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.